All right.
I hear music playing in the background.
There's music. Okay, everybody should be unmuted.
Shit. Are we live?
Are we?
Hello? Are we? Hello? Internet?
Internet?
Jeez.
Yes, you're live.
I think we made it.
You finally make it? Yeah, we're live. Okay, everybody should be unmuted.
Oh my god. Oh, jeez. It's one of those things. Welcome everybody to another late episode of Weekend Horror. So sorry about the delay on that. I hate being behind, and I was freaking out. Oh, well, okay, hang on a second. Before we go, we do have echo. I knew that we had echo.
I muted desktop audio.
Who said something about echo?
Everybody's saying something about echo.
Is it fixed?
I think the word was they hear all six of us.
Okay.
There better not be extra voices.
Professionals! Yay!
Where? I don't see any.
Oh, is the echo gone now? Jessica G says the echo is gone. Dark Steve says, "Oh my god, that echo." And now he says it's good. It's gone now. Apparently, it is fucking gone now. So, yes, to our live audience, I hope we didn't lose too many of you. Sorry for the delay on that. We ran into an issue with OBS, trying to figure that shit out. I blame the parrot. The bird is sabotaging us. So, God damn, I fucking hate being late. It totally throws me off. Welcome back.
You're gonna say fucking hate birds.
Birds are fine. Well, birds are fine. So, thank you, Crafty Keela. Happy New Year to you as well. And everybody in the chat, you know who I said. You know who I said you could blame for what happened, so you just go ahead and do that. Jessica G, it's okay, JL. Your tech issues were worth Tony's 30 minutes of ruthless shit talk, and it was ruthless. Although I wouldn't expect anything less from PH Swing and D Tony.
Ooh, got another nickname in there.
Yes, PhD Tony. He's the big swinging. He's the big swinging D. He's the D that we swing at the idiots that many of us debate. So, good evening. Look at everybody who's in the chat. Sir Little Wolf, good to see you. Jessica G, love you as always. Our stream queen is what we call her. PhD Tony, Jeff Roberts in the house. Dark Steve is in the house. Crafty Keela, all the way from Ireland. She's saying hello. But it's like late over there, so she'll be probably crashing here shortly. Good to see everybody. Jeff Roberts, good to see you. So let's fucking, as Johnny likes to say, let's kick this fucking pig. Welcome back, horror fans, to the Week in Horror podcast. It is the only podcast that is the warmest place to hide. This week, we are covering select horror films released January 3rd through January 9th. Thank every single one of you who got past how fucking late we were and, have joined us. I'm JL, and with me today are Eugene, and making his triumphant return, Alex.
What's happening?
What's up, everybody?
God, made it back. It's been a while.
Yes, it has been a minute. It's been a few episodes since Alex was with us. So, for just to catch people up, like I've tried to keep people abreast of what was going on. What happened to you, Alex?
What didn't, man? Coming in to the beginning of the month, we all came down with coronavirus, which was hell for some and okay for others, and then flip-flopped back and forth, and it was back and forth to a point where it was like one person or two people tested positive, and then almost a week later we had more positive tests, and then it was just quarantine with 3 kids and no work and just hell and trying to scramble around, and then we lost somebody to the disease actually, and I had to take some time, go up north and hang out up there for a couple of days, and been all over the damn world. Tested negative. Everybody's back at school. Everybody's doing well. Baby's doing good. Everything's good now on this end. Just gotta kind of catch back up because that really took us down. It's amazing how much just taking 1 month off of life can set you behind. But
oh yeah,
we're all breathing now, so
that's good. That's excellent.
it was a long one. It felt like I was away from you guys forever, and I know I popped in when we did our last one, but things are still kind of teetering at that point. But we're back, ready to go, man. Missed you guys.
Yeah, everybody's okay, and
everybody's recovered
everything kind of
fully.
subsided.
Yeah, everybody's recovered fully. Nobody's got any lingering issues. We got to keep an eye on the baby a little more closely than we normally would, but everything's fine on that end. Everything checks out to normal growth, and nothing seems to be wrong. So
awesome. Yeah. That is good to hear.
Good.
So thankfully, your wife, the kid you have on the way, and of course the other little ones, everybody's doing okay. So that was a bullet dodged. So, but we're it's awesome to have you back. And let's I don't think I'm kind of kicking myself. This year has been such a shit show, just in various things. And I before we jump into the movies, I wanted to take a moment. I was feeling a little nostalgic because technically, we're still in 2020, but this episode won't go live on it'll go live on Anchor and everything out, on the 3rd. But this moment right here, I was feeling a little kind of, I was getting a little misty-eyed. Pardon me. I was getting a little misty-eyed because this year has been shit. Has been absolute shit. You think of, obviously, the pandemic that's going on, the lockdowns are going on, unemployment rates are insane. There is, it's a dumpster fire in the fucking White House. Everything is crazy. Cats and dogs living together. I mean, AOC, Bernie Sanders, and Nancy Pelosi are supporting Donald Trump for some reason, and Mitch McConnell is the. I don't know what the fuck is going on. It is
plot twist.
This is a plot twist. This is Shyamalan Ding Dong plot twist style.
What a twist!
I couldn't have possibly guessed this shit. But through all of this. Through the jobs being lost and chaos all over the place, nobody knows where their next paycheck's coming from. Out of all of this, we have spent this year building this show into something that I'm extraordinarily proud of. And even though, we sit around and we talk about fucking horror movies, man, but it turns out, I think, in my opinion, the way I kind of view it, 2020 was the year that this kind of thing needed to happen. Because we all needed something to be able to kind of go to as a kind of like a release valve for all the shit that was going on around us. And I think a lot of people found us and think the same of us as well, that Week in Horror is just kind of like, we don't deal with idiots. We don't argue silly things. We don't argue science deniers and other craziness, but we can talk about horror movies. And not everybody loves them, but a lot of people love horror movies, and it's just we can nerd out for a little bit. Some people talk about comic books, some people talk about, art, some people talk about cooking. We're going to talk about fucking horror movies, and I cannot express enough how much this chat right here, that everybody in this chat, everybody who stopped by and listened to everybody that has stopped by and listened to the show, everybody that has made this show is possible because of everybody in that chat right now. And I see Tita Jones has stopped by. Zinzu has come by. So awesome to see you. With Johnny O, the Plot Hole, the efforts of the Plot Hole, and everybody else. We couldn't do this show. And I want to speak directly to you guys, to the people in the chat. We could not do this show without you. Otherwise, we would be literally sitting in our little offices talking to each other, and
it's never a good idea,
and that's never a good idea. That leads to no good things. But because of you guys, we're in our second season. This is our 15th episode of our second season. We have done 13 Bloodbath debates. We've done 13 After Darks. We have had special guests from the industry. We have had actors and directors, all kinds of people. We are plagued with, and it's not really a plague, I use it, but we are inundated with, people wanting to be on the show. enough so that it blows my mind. It's kind of like, dang, I get messages almost daily. Hey, I hear you have a podcast. I want to be on your show. That's a fucking cool thing. And none of this would be possible if it wasn't for every single person who clicked on that listen button and gave our show a listen, told someone about our show, and made this fucking thing happen.
It's absolutely incredible to see, like, when we look at numbers of follows and stuff like that, and see numbers in the thousands. Especially when we started off, it wasn't easy. It's not like we just like came on here and we're like, okay, cool, we're good at this. We're fucking garbage at this when we started, and then we really were. There's always a running joke about the first 2 episodes, and they're out there somewhere, not on the internet, but somebody's got them on their computer, and it's terrible.
I have them.
It's terrible. And we started out, it was like we were just running into walls. It was terrible, but we stuck with it, and then people started listening, and that was a cool feeling. And then it turned into, it was like, okay, this is a cool thing to do, to like, okay, now we're doing this like with and for people. It's not just like, we've got this little community started up, and whether or not, like, it's not like I'm going to be like, oh, we take all the credit for this community being here, but like you guys telling people about it, and then like, and then coming in here and interacting with us on a weekly basis, it keeps this thing alive, and it's there for all of you as well as it is for us.
Yeah. It gets me, and I was just this past week. We're days away from the end of the year. This year has sucked so bad, but man, this year would have sucked so much worse if it wasn't for the amazing people that I have met and been able to collaborate with on YouTube. Every single person who gave the show a listen, and all of you that listen on Anchor or Spotify or Google or Apple or whatever podcast thing you decide to listen to, I'm speaking to you guys as well. Just because you can't make it into the live chat and see us on YouTube, it's all good. You guys listen on Sunday, and you listen all the time. And I cannot express enough my gratitude that you guys have done this, that all of you have done this, that the horror community has embraced us so endearingly, that the YouTube community that is not really involved in like movies and stuff, but they have embraced us. And that is an amazing feeling. I did not think that this would turn into what it has turned into. And yeah, I mean, holy shit. But like I said, it's not anything without the audience. So right here, this is the last one officially that we are recording in the year of 2020. I wanted to make sure that every single person in that fucking chat right now, all of you, every single one of you knows how goddamn special you are to me, and how much each and every single one of you means to me, to all of us here at Week in Horror. I know to Alex, I know to Eugene, I know to Angela, I know to Johnny O, I know to everybody who's been involved in this thing. We fucking love you guys more than I think that we could possibly state. And I'm not going to pull a fucking Team Skeptic and get all weird like this, but I mean, you guys have been you guys have been amazing. And you've made Eugene feel so special by telling him he's sexy. He needed to hear that shit.
I did. It's a compliment. Thank you.
But
I'm the only single person in the Week in Horror podcast thing, so I was like, somebody
just putting that out there.
So, yes, man, I'm gonna get all fucking mushy and teary-eyed talking about this. I know I did. So, but fuck yeah, man. If I mean, that's me. That's what I wanted to say. Just to kind of sum up this experience. Alien X Gaming, dude, good to see you. So awesome. And man, I don't know where to go with this. So I say unless you guys have something something you would like to say, I say we kick off the fucking show.
I think you covered most of it. It's cool seeing you guys in the chat saying, you guys are here because of us. And I never thought I'd get that feeling. I never thought I'd like be in a position where I'd see those messages come through because I'm the one on the other end, or we're the ones on the other end.
Yeah, usually I'm the one in the messages, like typing and stuff like that.
Eugene's got 17 accounts.
All right.
Dark
I
Steve,
guess go
love
ahead
you
and
too,
dive
man.
into our first film.
Well, he's fresh. He's back. He's back from being sick. He dodged a fucking bullet. Alex, what is it you'd like to tell us? I didn't hear what he had to say. I gave him the layup. He didn't.
You put the ball up there and nothing.
I gave him the boost. What, did he mute himself?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Huh.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay,
Well,
so
sword
what is
flare.
it? What is it that you like to tell us? You're back. You're healthy, and you haven't had a chance to say it. So what do you tell us?
This is a fucking podcast about horror movies. Let's talk about some horror movies.
Goddamn right. Let's talk about some fucking horror movies. So let's not keep these people in suspense. All right, Eugene, what do we have up first? Take us away.
So the first film we have is a film called Backwoods that was released January 3rd, 2008. And it is directed by Marty Weiss, and stars Ryan Merriman, Haley Duff, Jonathan Shays, and Mimi Michaels. And basically, it's your nutshell. You got a couple of early 20s go out to the wilderness in California, and then all of a sudden people stalk and try to kill them, and shit hits the fan. This shit gets real.
Yeah, we were talking about
Not
this.
as real as Wrong Turn, but
No,
kind
that's
of real.
exactly what I was gonna say. We were talking about that before. How this is like a wrong turn, but for like pussies. When you're not into the whole cannibalism thing.
The cannibalism. I'm not really into the people eating people today. I'm more into like the brainwashing, rapey cultist types. It's a little bit tame. I'm feeling like a tamer evening.
like a little bit
It's a
tamer.
little more chill. Because
Keep it
one's
a little
better
bit more
than the
low
other.
key. Well, I mean, first of all, one of them has Elijah Dushku in it, so like that's already a selling point for Wrong Turn.
Which was the first failing of Backwoods because there was no Elijah Dushku. It wasn't even Hillary Duff. It was Haley Duff.
Yeah,
Or is
Haley
it-
Duff.
It was a Haley Duff.
Yeah,
or
it was
Hillary
Haley Duff.
Haley Duff, the
Hold on.
sister, the lesser
Yeah,
known
Haley
sister.
Duff. So you get discount Hillary Duff.
Discount Hillary Duff. That's cold blooded. That's some cold blooded shit right there. Oh man. But definitely that was the one thing they got from frame one, kicking it off from the very, very start. It was it literally it didn't even really feel like a weak version of Wrong Turn. It felt like a Wrong Turn ripoff. Only every time it was supposed to get gory and gross. Like in Wrong Turn, I mean, fuck like dismembering the chick on the table and blood going all over the place and people hiding, and it's like, that got really, really graphic, really, really fast. But in this, it was just every time it had the opportunity to really go in that direction, it just pulled back. And instead of just raving inbred cannibals, this is just a bunch of hokey cultists living out in the woods, killing men and kidnapping women to use them for breeding stock or some shit. I think the film was aware. It felt to me that the film was aware that what it was trying to do. So it was very similar to like mockbusters, movies that take a similar premise. So we went to the theaters. We saw. I mean, I went to the theater and saw Alien versus Predator. I know nobody else did, but
I did too.
So
I went to a special screening. Continue.
So the three of us went to go see Alien versus Predator. But on Sci-Fi, it was like Alien versus Hunter. So mockbusters, and that's what this really felt like. It was almost there but not there. I guess the production company behind it, which was Grand Army Entertainment. I looked through their history, and they have several things that kind of ring true of other things, but they never. It feels like they never really commit, which is kind of one of these things. I think this is probably why this released directly to DVD. I think this was released directly to DVD.
I think it was
No,
I
Spike
believe
TV.
so.
They showed it on Spike TV.
Okay, so
Spike
Spike
TV.
TV. So the company that distributed this, where it broadcast this was broadcast the same channel that brought us that Sticky Fingers Blade series.
What?
Sticky Fingers is a rapper.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he was cast as
Yeah.
Blade in the one season Blade series. Saddest shit you've ever seen. It was so depressing. because he was trying so hard. But it was on Spike TV, and that explains it. I guess the cable network that produced Deadliest Warrior is the one that produced this.
That's
because what it does is it misses the mark on what people want from that genre. So when you look at, we were talking about Wrong Turn, because Wrong Turn came out in, I think, 2003. The gore and the shock and the kills, that's what people are looking for, because the girl getting dismembered on a table. I remember the kill where the one girl got the axe like through the mouth, and like the top of her head stayed, and their body like fell out of the tree. So, and I was watching commentary from Wrong Turn, and they're like, we know we had to focus on the kills. We know this is what people wanted, and the film ended up delivering. And with this, it's weak, and people can forgive a ripoff if you have a couple of great kills. If you really had a couple of that was gross, and this person went through a wood chipper, and then they ate the goo afterwards, or something like that. And they're like, we're not even really trying to kill them. We're just going to capture them.
There was a Wrong Turn. I think it was Wrong Turn 5. Where the cannibals were fondueing one of the victims, and like cannibalistic fondue, and I thought I was like, that is fucking amazing. That right there is balls out. That is how you sell this shit, because it can't just be like kill them in the woods and then eat it, kill it. You can't just do that every single time. You've got to one up yourself. And 3 inbred cannibals fondueing their victims' legs. That was like chunks, and that shit was hilarious. I mean, and even 6 was even more fucking off the walls. So, I mean, like you were saying, Eugene, if you can't make it up with the kid, if you don't have the kills that can really ramp it up, then you've got to at least make it up somewhere, most likely in the acting. And this one, I didn't buy. Even everything was telegraphed. I mean, who didn't call that the ranger that showed up, like, who didn't call that he was one of the cultists?
As soon as he popped the screen, cultist.
Yep.
So
like,
I mean,
yep. Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What does everybody saw? Sir Little Wolf only saw Wrong Turn up to part 3. Dark Steve says bird poop incoming. I hope not. I'm indoors.
The bird was on my head.
Oh, the bird. Okay, the bird was on your head. Yes, and yeah, Jessica G. Jessica G is our resident stream queen. She's one of our patrons who jumps in the Discord theater and bam, streams a whole ton of shit, like really great stuff to our theater. And I think she's thinking about doing. I know I talked to her about streaming back to back chapter 1 and chapter 2 of It. So I know we're probably going to have that coming up, and it looks like Wrong Turn, the Wrong Turn franchise just made it on that, especially considering the new trailer for it just came out. But that was the killer thing on this one. And unfortunately, I mean, it's an interesting idea, but you have to be able to be afraid of something. So either make you afraid of the woods or make you afraid of the inbred cannibals. But Hills Have Eyes, this is not. Wrong Turn, this is definitely not. It's just a bunch of people running in the fucking woods. It's not even that dark. The bad guys don't look horrifying. They're not monsters. So it's like, what the fuck are we doing here? It's Diet Coke Hillary Duff trying to sell herself, or to make a movie. Because even the big huge one, because at least
Duff.
Haley, I said Diet Coke Hillary Duff, which is Haley Duff. Just 1 calorie, not Duff enough.
Duff.
So that was the thing that got me. And so like one of the biggest things in every single one of these inbred cannibal films, one of the tropes that you have in this, or of any of them, either The Hills Have Eyes or Wrong Turn or fucking there was one where there was an island and there was kids went there, and then there's always a big ass fucking behemoth. There's always the Goliath of the group. So, and the Goliath is he's huge and he's disgusting. Cabin in the Woods did it as well. The zombie redneck family. There was the great big one. There's always the big huge fucking one. He's disgusting looking. He's super strong and he's really hard to kill. They didn't even have that in this. The guy just looked like he was dirty. Like he'd been out in the woods for a few days too long and hadn't showered yet. Not like, cleft palated, eye sloping Jason looking motherfuckers. who have only ever eaten the long pig, and I couldn't invest myself. It was like, I can understand why this aired on Spike, because no one else would fucking pick it up, and Spike probably needed to fill the airtime.
Yeah, because it kind of looked like people that have probably been lost in the woods for like a week.
Yeah.
just grab
maybe
them.
they just really needed help.
It's silly. I mean, even the whole concept. When I think it was the character Lee, who had been held by them and was pregnant, and I think she was the girl who was captured in the beginning of the film, and then so she's pregnant, and they've had her trussed up for a while, and she's all like fucking, PTSD'd out, and then she winds up killing herself in the end. Even in that situation, it didn't sell me. I couldn't buy the acting. I thought it was overblown. I thought the movie just didn't know where it wanted to land, because every time it tried to go to an extreme, it pulled back. Like a fat guy's penis. It just kind of retracted, and it was afraid to show itself. And it just made me sad, because there were moments where I could see it could go into a solid direction.
Wait, hang on. That's the analogy when you want to go with? Not like a turtle, like pop?
No, that's where I'm going with, because it's more visual. You get that just in your head of just the
It's too much.
No, keep going. I just couldn't let it sit there. Keep going.
No, and of course I've got to. We were 30 minutes late, so I got to give these people a show. I got to be as extreme as possible. Remember, this is the best part about not being monetized, is we can talk about crazy fucking shit like this and make weird fucking analogies, and it's okay. No one's going to shut us down, because we don't make anything off of this.
Yes.
Wow, you made that dark and depressing.
If you would like to support us, please go to our Patreon.
No. Did I make it dark and depressing, or did I make it dark because it is depressing?
Huh.
No, but ultimately I couldn't buy into the film. It was just a kind of a weak entry, and honestly I feel, in my opinion, I want to get your guys' opinion as well. I feel, and probably the live chat as well. Live chat, let us know. Do you think that films that do this, films that kind of riff off of bigger name films, better production value films like this, do you think they cheapen the genre at all? Because I can't help but feel that it's a little bit of a cheapening of the genre. We have superb production companies that go forth and put forth a legitimate effort to really entertain, shock, scare, whatever, to play on your fears and to do that. And then when these companies come along, they don't have as much. I understand that we will always respect somebody for getting a movie in the fucking can. It's very fucking hard to do that. But have your own ideas. When you riff off other ideas, it shows that you're not only, lesser way. You're not only inferior as far as a production company, because you don't have the equipment, you don't have the money, you don't have the resources, but you're also not original. But this could just be me. What do you guys think?
So, I wouldn't necessarily call it cheapening the genre, because I always kind of put obviously low budget films kind of their own thing about it, and it's fine. You can take a concept of another film and go off of that. You'll hear the whole thing. There's only 20 original stories ever created, and everything's a derivative of one of these 20 different stories. That's fine. You want to do a film that has teenagers lost in the woods. There's been 1,000 more. There'll be another 1,000. That is perfectly fine. It's just do something that makes it a little bit unique. If you don't have the production value of Wrong Turn, then maybe twist it in your own way so that it works. Maybe use less locations, maybe make a better monster or a different monster, more scary, whatever, or a twist. When slasher movies were coming out in the 80s, the big thing that started was the twist, like Sleepaway Camp. You have all these slasher films, now we got to kind of put twist. So you can always kind of put something in a film, even if you don't necessarily have the money, you can put something in a film that can give it a unique thing on it. And when you don't like this film, this becomes more lazy.
Yeah.
This film.
Well, okay, so just for example, we've talked about it before, the movie Torment. the movie Torment, had the family, they were all wearing the animal masks. They were wearing like the handmade, the kind of like homemade animal masks, like the mouse mask and everything. And that was very similar, where it was, it's like inbred psycho motherfuckers coming out and attacking people in their homes. Very similar to like Offspring and the what led to the woman. But in this respect, but Torment did it differently, because Torment, capitalized on lighting, cinematography, and excellent camera work. And not to mention, they had Catherine Isabel, who is a champion scream queen. And that's where you pick up your success. You realize, crap, we don't have a lot to work with, so we're going to shoot it dark, and we're going to leave a lot up to the audience's imagination. Know these tricks of the trade.
Exactly.
Alex, do you think it cheapens the genre? Do you think it cheapens the genre overall?
I don't think it cheapens the genre overall, but it does. I guess it makes me feel not great about the genre when you find something like that, when you're ripping it off completely. Like I saw a couple in the comments, it's like, if you're ripping it off completely, if it's just a blatant rip off, I feel like, yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know the word, disgraceful to the genre. Not so respectful, but like if you're trying to redo something but better, I mean, if you're at least trying to do it that way, then yeah, I can get behind that.
Gotcha. Well, let's see. What does the chat have to say? So, hey, Gavilar, the Hand of Zod, one of our patrons. So good to see you as well. And I think that was Sticky Fingers in Leprechaun 6, which is after his performance of Blade. I would have stuck him in that too. Let me see. Jessica G says, no, it does not cheapen the genre. I would agree that from another perspective, you can look at it as though it broadens it, because it gives people the opportunity to maybe do something different with an unoriginal, with an idea that's not theirs. Maybe they can play it their own way and make it their own. Because like Craft Tequila says, if you're gonna rip off a bigger movie, try to do it better. Okay, or if you're gonna rip something, or if you're gonna pull an idea for something, at least pull off an awesome idea. That was like one of the biggest rules when I was in learning acting, when I was in film class, and when I was in film school, and I was also learning acting, was if you're gonna pull an idea, make sure you pull a fucking good one. If you're gonna copy a performance or mimic it like this, at least try to make it your own, but make sure it's a good one. So if you're gonna play like for me, I played Van Helsing in a live production of Dracula. It was a terrible fucking play, but I modeled my performance as a combination of Anthony Hopkins and Peter Cushing. Okay, because if I try to model it off of something else, that's going to be awful. It's going to be fucking weak. It's going to come off as overblown and very, very sad. Gavlar, the Hand of Zon, would say, yes, now he has images of Chode stuck in his head. If you don't walk away from this podcast with images of chodes in your head, I have failed as a podcaster.
Not doing your job.
That's our mission statement, too.
Charlie Welch says both. It does cheapen it, and it doesn't cheapen it. I could see that as well. Craft Tequila says, yes, it does. It does cheapen the genre. Dark Steve as well says, yes. There should be more originality. I agree. That's just it's the way I feel on it. I feel it does kind of take away, because those, and I think the worst part of it is that those who aren't hardcore into horror, they may see one of these and it may turn them off to the genre. And there's a lot of really great shit out there that they might be missing. Chris Durham Music Channel has joined us. Hey, what's up, Chief? Good to see you. And Jinju, I think I'm pronouncing that right, says, depends on if it's a decent homage or a cheap ripoff. And I think he also has a point there, because you can tell a really solid homage to a previous product, but if it's like a cheap ripoff, like a Mockbuster, fuck that noise.
But stuff like, what was it, the Velociraptor Priest? What was that?
Velocipaster.
The Velocipaster. I loved that film, by the way, too.
See? That's amazing shit. We need more Velocipasters. We need more Poultrygeist. We need more Kung Fury.
Because the thing with Velocipaster is, first of all, it knew exactly what it was. You can tell all of the homages that it was pulling for. That it didn't feel like it failed at what it was trying to accomplish. It accomplished exactly what it was trying to accomplish, and you can see it up to like where it has the zoom in on the car and there's like edited explosion, and they didn't have an explosion, it was just there. it knew exactly what it wants to be, and that's one of the most important things when it comes to filmmaking. Is there are great dramas, great horrors, great comedies, great all this other kinds of stuff. Mm-hmm. As long as you know what your film, the identity of what your film is, you have a chance to succeed. You just don't blatant rip off somebody else's.
Don't
expect the best from the worst.
Yeah, don't expect the best from the worst. But one of the things is the fact that this is a cult film, though. A cult horror film on it, and I'm actually kind of curious to see what are some people's favorite cult horror films.
Ooh, now, are you talking like cult classic, cult genre?
No, I think he said horror films with cults in them, where like a cult is like.
Because I wanted to clarify, not necessarily favorite cult horror, like underground horror film, but what is your favorite horror film about a cult?
They have cults in it, so I think I would have to say The Void is one of mine, because all the cultists look like fucking white robes and shit with the triangles on their faces. That was great stuff.
PSG Tony, The Invitation, I agree.
Ooh. The Invitation was creepy. That was a creepy one.
It was super.
That was really, really creepy. I was gonna throw in Midsommar.
Midsommar, yes, pagan cults.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm so glad. Okay, because you could also drop Hereditary, because there was the cult in that one that was worshiping. I can't remember the name. What the hell was the name of that god?
Whatever. P too.
Yeah, Paimei. Whatever, they're trying to summon that god into the kid's body. So got that guy. Had that one. Of course, no one's mentioning. Well, Rosemary's Baby. That's right. The cult trying to bring the devil, or the Antichrist, whatever it was.
Anybody? Hot Fuzz? Anybody?
Oh yes.
That's solid.
The neighborhood Watch Alliance. Jessica G says The Last Exorcism, and Jinju says Jacob's Ladder.
Ooh, Jacob's Ladder was creepy.
Jacob's Ladder, nice.
I think no one has mentioned the Wicker Man.
Would that?
Because it was a pagan cult. Yeah. Now we could mention the original. No, I'm not talking about the bees. The bees are in my eyes. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like the creepy. Although it was funny as hell, Nicolas Cage punching women in the face. It was just done so absurdly.
He sucker punched the bear.
It's just what the fuck is like? What are you doing? So unintentionally hilarious. But the original one was definitely a cult film. And Kill List was good. So we got some good choices out there, some excellent ones. But definitely, if you do happen to listen to this later on, let us know. Let us know what your favorite horror film with a cult, not cult horror film, but a horror film with a cult in it. Let us know in the comments down below, or hit us up, weekinhorror@gmail.com.
All right, so it's funny because this next movie was actually spoiled in the chat already, but I'll go ahead and send it to Alex.
Thanks, Eugene. Oh, all right. This one holds a spot. This one holds a spot in my heart for sure. This movie, White Noise, came out January 7th, 2005. This was directed by Jeffrey Sachs, written by, I want to say it's Niall Johnson.
It's close enough.
I could, Niall, whatever. Yeah, we're not doing names today. This starred Michael Keaton, Chandler West, Deborah Unger, Ian McNeice, Sarah Strange, Nicholas Name. So this movie was essentially, there was a guy who was trying to speak with his dead wife through EVP, and as Eugene likes to say, shit got real. It went in directions that he was not expecting and ended up contacting people he did not want to contact. Now, this movie came out, and I saw this in theaters, ironically, on a, we were going to a lock-in, kids used to do. I was 15 back at the time, but we're going to this lock-in, and it was with a church, and they let us just go into the movie theater and kind of pick what movie we wanted to go see, and this one was playing. So me and some of my friends went and saw it, and the church people were not very happy. To be clear, I was not with the church. I did not attend the church. It was just a friend that was like, hey, we're doing this thing and we can bring a guest. And so I went with. And yeah, it was insane seeing this movie because it was kind of new in the way that, you know, what they were doing was kind of a new take on ghosts. And I think this one stuck with me for a really long time because it wasn't necessarily good, but it was definitely like different.
Well, I can already tell from the chat that obviously Jessica G is a huge fan of White Noise, and several people have been a fan of this film. I do remember seeing it in theaters. Eugene, did you get to see it in theaters?
No, I saw it shortly afterwards. I saw it on DVD when it came out, and I actually really enjoyed it, and it was always kind of a creepy aspect to it. There's something creepy about the chance that there's a being standing next to you that you don't know is there. And so when I saw EVP was something that was actually, like, I didn't super dive into or anything like that, but it was always like a really kind of a creepy aspect to it on it. And I like films like this. I do. I like them. I like when you're tense.
It's tense through the whole thing. It never lets up.
You know, it's so freaking interesting because at the time I was 25 when this one came out. And I remember I really enjoyed Michael Keaton. I thought Michael Keaton did well, especially because I was a fan of him from from obviously Beetlejuice, Batman, the varying roles he plays. But he went in a different direction, and I liked the character that he played here. He showed a vulnerability that I think he normally didn't. But the thing that struck me about this, looking back at White Noise now, is because anybody knows my own personal channel, I go after like woo believing stuff, and EVP is woo. So, and we know that now. We know that electronic voice phenomena is just an effect of pareidolia and the lesser known apophenia. It's finding noise or finding values in chaos. You see a pattern, you see the texturing on your wall, and then from painting it, and then all of a sudden you look and you see a face in your wall. Well, there's no face there, but your brain puts it together, and that's kind of what EVP does. You find what you're looking for. That doesn't make it any less creepy, because sometimes, that's what it is. And I think that not enough horror films take advantage of natural phenomena like pareidolia and then use it to greater effect, because it was used to extreme effect in this one, where it could mean something, but it probably doesn't, but you never know, it just might. And that's where it was kind of like you said, you weren't aware of something like behind you. Something could be next to you, but it just can't cross that barrier, can't talk to you, and like that. So how would you know? And of course, it chats through the static. Creepily shot, and the idea of evil spirits lurking in the static or lurking on that side, trying to do terrible things. Kind of freaky. I will admit, the film was creepy. It really was.
And I like the fact that you brought up how people seeing things in chaos or making out a face or something like that, because regardless to say it's fake or something, the mind believes it's real. And I remember I was reading a story on Reddit, and there was a woman in an insane asylum, and she had duct tape over her face, and it was tape over. She tape over her mouth, and she had tape over her ears. And it was like, well, what was wrong with her? It was like, oh, well, she has a condition where she believes she's constantly covered in cockroaches, and she knows they're not there. She knows it's a hallucination. She's completely lucid in that fact, but everything her brain is telling her says that they are there. And because of that, it makes it real. So so even if it's just something, a pattern, it's a pattern in the wall, a pattern that's static or something like that. If the mind believes it is truly real, then it just might as well be.
It's just insane that your brain can do things like that.
Yeah. It's wild, the idea, and I think this was an early example of what we would now kind of refer to as intelligent horror, using something that is definitely real. Like EVP is a phenomena. And it is. It's just, I think that people mistake it for something more than it actually is. But it does actually occur. If you listen to enough static, eventually the tones are going to come together. You're going to make out something discernible, or at least close to discernible. And even if it's close to discernible, you're going to listen to it enough times that eventually you're going to fill in the blanks. Just like in the brain teaser, when you have the optical illusion, when you have the four corners, and then you look at the four corners, you look in the center, and your brain fills in the lines to make the square. Because that's what the brain does. So you may hear the bits and pieces, and then you listen to it enough, and your brain will fill in the blanks, and then you'll actually get a sentence. But this occurs, and it speaks to something very primal within us. And I think that's an important aspect of horror. And obviously, it's kind of like I would attribute like being afraid of something like of a film like this, or finding a film like this scary, it goes to a more primitive sense of us. It's like kind of like hearing something, but you can't see where it came from, or hearing something in the dark, getting closer, but you can't gauge where it's at, or maybe you smell something, really a kind of growing odor, but you don't hear anything or see anything. Playing with your senses like that is really, really smart stuff. And White Noise did well at the theaters. I think of on a $10 million budget, it grossed 91.2, so that's pretty damn good. I
did want to bring this up, and this is I just now thought about it, because not saying any voice of people trying to communicate with you in the afterlife or something like that, but for the military, when we use long range radio communications, a lot of times we bounce stuff off the atmosphere, like for longer communicating between states and continents and all this kind of stuff. And so a lot of times what happens is these signals will get lost up in the atmosphere, and they'll float around up there like indefinitely. And so occasionally you will actually hear old recordings from signals from the past. They're long gone and stuff like that. But I've had people who've been on radio and they've heard communications from like World War II, like pilots and stuff like that. It's just the signals is stuck up there, and it just loops around the Earth. And occasionally you'll come and you'll hear it.
Oh, that is fucking crazy.
I'm gonna have to do some research into that.
Yeah, dude, definitely look into not any kind of short band communication or anything like that between bases, but when you're thinking long range, where the military sets up antennas on mountaintops and communicates like directly to Japan or Korea or something like that. And we've gotten signals from like battleships. We've gotten signals from pilots from World War II, stuff like that.
That's cool.
That is so fucking creepy. That's okay. Now it's really cool natural phenomena like that, because we can explain that, we understand why that happens, but it still speaks to something very ancient within us. In our more primitive times, when we would run from the rustle in the grass because of the possibility it could be a lion waiting for us. So we would run from it because it could be a lion, but it may have just in reality it might have just been the wind. But you don't want to make the mistake. So that's kind of ingrained in us. And I like these things that play on that aspect. And that makes for really, really smart horror, really, really fun horror, because you kind of go having learned a little bit something, being aware of something in a way that you weren't. I would say that a similar experience would be after I watched Blair Witch Project. After I watched the Blair Witch Project, I came away with a kind of new perspective, because it had been a long time since I'd watched something in black and white. Found footage was relatively new. It wasn't the newest thing, but it was relatively new for the mainstream. And the whole concept of seeing the film in a different way, of seeing a movie in a completely different experience, weirded me out, but made me more keenly aware of various other things. It altered my perspective a bit. It opened my eyes a bit. And a movie like this, like White Noise, that did the same thing for me. Because obviously, if you go and you look at the analytics, the weekend that this movie released looks, like searches for the paranormal, EVP, and all the equipment needed to study that skyrocketed. So,
of course.
Oh, so yeah, of course, people all of a sudden bring up something new.
Let's see what we got here. So, people have been talking about this. So, let's see. PhD Tony says, I'm looking forward to seeing it. There aren't many Keaton films I do not like. That's true. He has been amazing, from Multiplicity all the way up to, actually, I would say from shit, the
War of the Worlds.
No, Michael Keaton film. It was a very, very early one when he played the crazy guy in the asylum.
Nope.
Son of a bitch.
Oh.
Christopher Lloyd. Oh, goddamn. It's a comedy, so it's probably why I fucked up and I can't remember it. But let's go from Beetlejuice. I know there was movies he was in before that. From Beetlejuice all the way up to The Vulture, he's been fucking amazing. So I think PhD Tony would really, really enjoy it. Let's see. Sir Little Wolf says, "I'm pagan, so I do believe in some woo stuff." There you go.
PhD Tony, these aren't your traditional walkie-talkie radio signal. This is a whole different type of tech.
Oh, okay. So yeah, he was responding to that. So PhD Tony said, "I find that very difficult to believe. I doubt that World War II signals can be preserved, and I think that's an urban myth." And I think you got your response from Eugene there.
I have a radio operator who's coming over later tonight who experienced it personally. Like, he can hop on and be like, "Yeah, I heard it," directly himself.
Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Johnny Dangerously. Johnny Dangerously was amazing. That was a Michael Keaton film. So Johnny Dangerously was fantastic. Yes, thank you, plot hole. The Dream Team. Fuck, I couldn't remember that movie. But I remember that Christopher Lloyd was in it. Because they all broke out of the mental asylum. It was like a funny version of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And Tina Jones, Dream Team. Yeah, thank you for bringing that. Of course, PhD Tony, Dream Team. I'm glad we were able to find that. So Sir Little Wolf says, like, Behind the Mask. Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. It was about a serial killer or a guy documenting his rise to try and become a serial killer or mass murderer or whatever. I don't think there was a cult aspect to that, was there?
I don't really think so.
Huh? Maybe I'm remembering it wrong. It's been a while since I've seen it because I only saw it because Robert Englund was in it. So let's see. Gavlar the Hand of Zod. Pacific Heights was good. Yes, Pacific Heights was very good. I'm also a fan of Multiplicity. Mr. Mom. I'm a fan of Mr. Mom. There's a whole bunch of movies of his movies that I fucking love. So great, great stuff.
Are you just naming Michael Keaton movies now?
Oh yeah, just PhD Tony is right. There's rarely movies in it that I don't dig.
No, yeah, he was in Birdman. That came out a couple.
Birdman, yeah. So with White Noise, something very, very interesting happened. I found this really interesting because this was 2005, so it's only 15 years ago. This is relatively, but I mean, it's kind of new because this isn't like something that happened in the 70s or the 80s or the 90s. So for those in the audience who may not have heard it, there are two periods of the year that are called the dump season. So there is a kind of winter dump season, and I would say fall to winter dump season, and then kind of like a winter to spring dump season. And then you have spring going into summer, summer going into autumn. And then, of course, the summer is your tentpole season where you have your big heavy hitters come out. But there are the dump seasons. And dump seasons typically were the 2 points of the year where audience attendance at the movie theater was completely tanked. No one went out. It was either too cold or people were spending time with their families, and people just didn't go to the movies. And so the worst movies in a production company's repertoire, or their slate, the slate of films they were have coming out, the worst ones, the ones they knew they probably weren't going to bank anything on, or maybe they were just vehicles for a specific actor, these films were released during the dump months. So they get them out, they get a little bit of money from them, they're not going to make their money back, they've already anticipated it, and it's already covered, so then they'll get a little bit of money and whatever. So the big ones are saved for the summer when kids are out of school and everybody can go to the theaters. But it was White Noise, and I think, yes, Eugene, tell me, this was Universal, right?
Let me double check real quick.
I think that this was Universal that tapped this keg.
Yeah, Universal. Yeah, so with White Noise, like I say, with the Duck Months, and people kind of throw them out there, and so what Universal did, because White Noise is a good film, Universal threw it out because now imagine having the only good film when everybody else is doing bad films.
Yep.
So people are going to naturally gravitate towards it. So it may not be able to hold its own against these blockbusters and stuff like that, or the awards movies in December, but if you have no competition right now, you throw something up, it becomes successful, which this film was very successful on it. And so what studios actually started doing in terms of horror films is start putting some of these out that are not bad films, knowing there's going to be little to no competition. The latest one being Invisible Man. Invisible Man came out like in January, like end of January, something like that. And Invisible Man is a good, solid movie. They knew it was a solid film. It was not supposed to be a dump or throwaway. But it's almost like having a temporary monopoly on the theaters. There's just nothing else that people are going to go see. And so we'll start getting these horror films, these little gems that come out that they know will make money because of lack of competition.
Let us know in the live chat. Just let us know if you guys saw the new Invisible Man. I thought it was fucking amazing. It blew my mind. It was so much better than I was expecting. I thought it was going to be oh, it built me up, and I thought it was going to be like Us, where I was like, I'm so excited, and then I see it, and I'm kind of like, okay. But Invisible Man was fucking amazing. That movie was phenomenal. Elizabeth Moss was so fucking good in that. But yeah,
I love the end of that movie where you had no idea what was actually going to happen. It was like, okay, it's going to be one of a few things, and then you're like, oh, huh.
And I thought it's interesting that a movie like this little Michael Keaton film about electronic voice phenomena, most likely that this script was sitting in some file somewhere. It was it's not like this was a what do they call it? It's not like this was sitting on the blacklist, okay? Where the blacklist is basically a collection of kind of untapped screenplays that are floating around Hollywood, and they're the hottest unproduced screenplays out there. Films that are supposed to be really fucking good, but they're either too expensive or the production company's not moving in that direction. But they are super hot movies, and so if anybody wants to pick one of them up, they typically are really, really expensive to produce, but you typically get gold medals when you grab something off the blacklist. This wasn't one of those movies. I guarantee you, someone out there wrote a script about EVP that was probably really fucking boring, and then some other studio house picked it up, or Universal got the rights to it, or they bought the script outright, and then they had their writers have a go at it, changed it up a little bit, put some more dramatic elements, fictionalized a little bit, artistic license here, drop in Michael Keaton and Deborah Kara Unger, and boom, there you go. You have a solid film, especially a solidly acted film. So it's really, really, it's wild that Universal accidentally stumbled upon this, and this is classic, studio filmmaking. Well, we need a movie to release in fucking December, January, at the top of January, which is a shit fucking month for the theaters. So let's go ahead and let's do this fucking EVP movie. It's whatever. It's a movie about ghosts that you can't even see. So we'll do that. And it's kind of like, okay. So they throw it out there, and then all of a sudden it lands, and it fucking lands hard, and an untapped market, which is people like us, people like Jessica G, individuals like this, will go to the theaters to see these movies. So production companies started putting a little more money into the horror movies because this untapped audience suddenly sprung up. Suddenly this $10 million film just generated almost $100 million at the box office. We're not going to ignore that. So Universe kicked the ball on that one. All of a sudden now, toward, like you said, we still see it going on today. 15 years later, we get Invisible Man last January, and it was fucking amazing. So
it was great.
It was.
That's and then they made a second one of these. I don't know if you guys ever saw.
They did, and how do you have?
I didn't see two.
How do you have Nathan Fillion and oh shit, Bo-Katan? I love her so much. I can't remember her name. Her fucking. Her fucking autograph is right there on my wall.
What are you talking about from the second one?
Yes. What is her name?
Katie Sackhoff?
Katie Sackhoff. That's my girl.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, wait a second. There's only a couple.
And no, every time I think of her name, Kira jumps in my head. And I'm like, no, her name is not Kira Sedgwick. Kira Sedgwick is married to Kevin Bacon. Fuck. So, no. Katie Sackhoff, yes. Katie, I know, right, Dark Steve? I'm so sorry. I fucked it up. Unless he's talking to Irish Demon, then we'll blame Irish Demon. But yeah, but yes, Jeff Roberts, Gavlar, yes, it is Katie Sackhoff. Katie Sackhoff's, like, her autograph is right there on my fucking wall, right below Norman Reedus. So I totally fucked that up. But yes, how do you take something that worked with Michael Keaton, EVP, you expand the subject matter, you drop in Nathan Fillion, Firefly, Buffy, awesome, everybody fucking loves him, and Katie Sackhoff, Starbuck. So you got like Mal Reynolds and Starbuck, and fuck the movie up. I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed by White Noise too. I wanted it to be good because, come on, man. You had fucking Katie Sackhoff. She's just kicking ass, fucking Cylons up left and right. And you got Malcolm Reynolds giving a middle finger to the fucking Alliance and shit. And I'm like, fuck yes. And then all of a sudden, weak sauce.
Hey, the concept was cool.
Yeah, okay, Sir Little Wolf. Yes, Slither, excellent. There you go. Of course, that was Elizabeth Banks and Nathan Fillion and a bunch of other people. Michael Rooker, the powerhouse. But fuck yeah, I don't know why, but White Noise really got me. It creeped me out like Blair Witch creeped me out in 1999. It made me look at the world a little bit differently. It's kind of expanded my horizons. I thought that the finishing scene of Michael Keaton, like in the Static, like the dramatic look in Static, where he's like, I thought that was a little on the nose. Like, it's like, oh, he's dead now. Oh, he's in the Static. I thought that was kind of like, that's a little ham-handed. But I digress. That was just the end. But it was decent. I thought it was cool. It was a cool little ghost film. I think it ranks up there. It's not as extreme as, say, like The Grudge or The Ring or, some other ghost movies. But this is definitely no... Huh?
I was just trying to think. There was a movie that I had in my head when we started talking about this one. Now I can't remember what I was thinking about.
Brain farts seem to be the theme of the fucking day
tonight, man. It was like,
it might be today.
I was like, I'm gonna bring up this ghost movie, and then nope, I lost it.
Totally. But yeah,
we'll come to you at the end of the podcast.
For a little ghost movie, for a scary ghost movie that played on something that's real, that actually does occur. I thought it was really, really smart, and I'm sad that they messed up the second one. They just tried to go, I think, a little too extreme. The whole like moving through electricity, and that was fucking weird.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Yeah, but I thought the first one was solid. It's definitely, and I think it holds up. So anybody who has not seen it, so I think, like I said, PhD Tony, you haven't seen it yet. The movie holds up. It has aged very well.
And that's the thing too. That was around the time that like ghost movies started coming back. You had a lot of ghost movies. I guess you really didn't have like a ton of ghost movies beforehand. I like ghost movies. I think that's probably one of my... I love slashers and everything, but I think ghost movies really do it for me in horror because it's so out there. It's so like supernatural, so surreal. That it's like, okay, if that did happen, that would be super... Because anybody can just go nuts and, kill a bunch of people. But then like, if something like supernatural happened, be like, okay, that's scary. Bird's scared too.
Yeah,
but hey,
definitely,
audience,
because... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, audience, let us know. What's your favorite ghost movie?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of them out there. I'm sure some of yours will spark my brain fart.
Gavlar, the Hand of Zod says brain. Okay, so Sir Little Wolf's end of the year stuff. Yeah, Gavlar, the Hand of Zod says, yeah, we brain farts and chodes. That's what it's about. The brain farts are just icing on the chode cake. So
oh God, says, no! I'm thinking of a cake with chodes.
A cake of chodes, or a cake made of chodes, or a chode that is a cake.
Just one big giant chode.
Is it red
I don't know
velvet?
why I picture like a wedding cake like that too, like a chode wedding cake.
3-tier.
Like multi-tiered.
Is it just like like fucking Russian nesting dolls, chodes within chodes? Oh, let's see. Sir Little Wolf says a good ghost movie is The Entity, and yes, The Entity was fantastic. I think that was Barbara Hershey. Really freaky one because that was about the ghost. I think that was actually based on an actual report of a woman who claimed that a ghost attacked and raped her. It was pretty wild. So The Entity was really good.
When that happens.
Yeah, it's always bad. It's always worse this time of year.
Shit. Now I'm thinking of Scary Movie. What was it? Scary Movie 2 or 3?
Let's see. Tina Jones. Yes, Tina Jones. The Sixth Sense. Excellent ghost movie. PhD Tony says The Others. The Others. I don't think The Others gets enough love.
You know what?
Others is really
probably
underrated.
The first movie that disappointed me.
The Others disappointed you?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, it was so
man,
talked
I really
up, and I
liked
had
it.
a friend who talked it up so hard, and then like we watched it, and I was like almost disappointed by it.
It was so
because, like,
gothic.
yeah, but it's like a remake from a different story. And I can't remember the name of the story, but it was I don't know. It was just.
It takes notes from other sources, but it was just extremely well done. The gothic atmosphere, the fucking house they live in.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like the filmography and everything was great, and the acting was great. And I don't know, the story was just kind of like that for me.
And legit, like I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen The Others yet. Would it be spoiling? The Others came out a long time ago. Are we past? Are we past?
There
it is, Sir Little Wolf. I'm sorry, one missed call. That was the movie.
Okay.
That was the one I was thinking of.
Let me see. In The Others, I legitimately did not expect that they were dead. That got me. It was like, holy shit.
Yeah. I knew right away.
Oh, okay.
That was just one that I figured out right off the bat. I don't know.
I like the part because it takes place during like World War I, and I like the part where like her husband came home, and like they were sitting there and going through it. He just felt weird, and then he was like, "So I went over this hill, and like now I'm here, and I don't think I made it," and like walked away. I just that part always stuck out to me.
Well, it was well acted. It was a strong little film. So Little Wolf also says The Frighteners. Peter Jackson, hell yes, The Frighteners was fantastic.
Yes.
And Gavlar Hand of Zod says the chode cake would be a cheesecake. it would be rich, wouldn't it?
Flamunda flavor.
Flamunda icing.
So like we were sitting there, we've been talking about chode cake, and then I think my roommate walked by because I heard it as he like walked past the door.
Oh, and Tina Jones also says Dead Man's Shoes was interesting. I'll have to check that one out. I have not heard of that one.
Scooby-Doo and zombie.
Okay, that's for Irish Demon because I kept giving Irish Demon so many softballs on the first instance of the abattoir. So I'll give that one to Irish Demon. It won't scare him too bad. Gavlar says A Tale of Two Sisters was a creepy. Yes, it was. Also a good one. There's a lot of good ghost movies out there. A lot of good. Here's one. I actually want to hear from the chat. We're going to jump to the next one. We're going to jump to the next movie. I believe it's mine. But I want to ask the chat something. Let us know. Number one, I want to know one of two things. One, what did you guys think of Abattoir, of Week in Horror Abattoir, where we'll take first-timers, like noobs to the horror genre, and we just give them the Week in Horror experience. We just shove them in the meat grinder, and then we kind of talk to whatever comes out, whatever's left. And
that's why we called it Abattoir.
Yeah, and then I promise that the movies we show noobs in the future, the movies that we go over will be much more extreme. But I knew some things about Irish Demon. I wanted to throw, just personally, I wanted to throw him a bit of a softball. But the next people that are on are going to get the full-on treatment. They're going to be seeing some scary shit. So, did you enjoy Week in Horror Abattoir? I really want to know. I'd like to get a lot of feedback on that because it's something new that we want to bring it in to kind of pick up the slack of the After Dark when we can't secure an industry guest. We want to if we can't get an industry guest, we want to terrorize a Nubian. So we want to really fuck with people. So that's a really good. So if you really enjoyed it, let me know. And also, did everybody? It's a ghost movie or a ghost series on Netflix. How's the Haunting of Hill House first season, or season 1, season 2? Let me know. I'd like to know what you guys thought of those because I fucking loved it, and I think it's the best that's most recently come out as far as ghost stories go.
You know what? If you're gonna go that route, read the book too.
Oh yeah.
The book was fantastic. It was like a total mindfuck.
Ooh, PhD Tony, yes, Lake Mungo. Lake Mungo was an odd one out. I thought it was an outlier because it was well done and well shot enough to kind of take it, because I thought it was a bit on it felt a little slow, but it was engaging enough that it kind of captures you. And I really like what they did with that. And it had a nice little payoff with the photographs at the end. I thought it was kind of cool. All right, so let's pop off this one. I've got the next one, don't I?
Oh.
Yeah,
yes, you do.
Yes, I do.
Let's jump on this one.
So let's bring this one up. So the moody and atmospheric ghosty film, White Noise. We're going hardcore. So released January 8th, 1988. And yes, I know it actually released in 87 in Portugal, but we're talking about the US release, Alex. We have the cult
88 in Peru as well.
The cult vampire hit. Dicks. The cult vampire hit Near Dark. So directed by Catherine Bigelow, written by Eric Red and Catherine Bigelow, starring Adrian Pasdar, Jenny Wright, Lance Hendrickson, Bill Paxton, Jeanette Goldstein, Tim Thomerson, a whole host of really solid actors in this one. The plot revolves around a drifter, played by Adrian Pasdar, who winds up getting bitten by a vampire and then kind of seduced into this cult of vampires, where he is then eventually forced to choose between his living family and his new undead family, much to the dismay of his undead family. So, with an awesome performance by Bill Paxton, who was amazing as Severin, the fucking crazy ass psychotic vampire. He was so great. I fucking loved him to death in this movie. But yeah, a fantastic little horror film from I think at the time, from Catherine Bigelow, director of The Hurt Locker. She was married to James Cameron, I believe, at the time that she made this. This was her solo directorial debut, and turned out, I think, which is one of the best 80s vampires films. I think Near Dark ranks up there with Lost Boys and a couple of other 80s vampires flicks.
Hell yeah, it does.
I can agree with that. Like, you can already see where she's gonna go. I mean, she's married to at the time to James Cameron, so yep. She has been there right on the outside of those phone calls. He probably listened to James Cameron on set when he's bitching because the alien prop wouldn't move right for the day or something like that. So like, she's already been around a legendary director. She's probably even been on set a bunch of times, so she gets a lot of this experience that upcoming filmmakers would like fucking kill for. And then the actual opportunity to basically direct her own film off of his back on top of that is awesome. She nailed it in the park. She's a fantastic director in her own right, and she's even, and it was always interesting because her film Hurt Locker beat out Avatar for best film. So maybe
and that was after they got divorced.
Yeah, that was after they got divorced.
I thought it was. I think Catherine picked up all the good things about Cameron as a director and just did not pick up the bad stuff. Everybody, anybody who's anybody in Hollywood could speak to the taskmaster kind of ideology of James Cameron. That is the way he runs his sets. He's a very difficult director to work with, but of course, you look at the product that he turns out: Titanic, Terminator 2, Aliens. You name it. Avatar. Yeah, but he's a tough guy. Even Sigourney Weaver has said the guy is hardcore. He's very difficult to work with. Because obviously Aliens. She said the two of them were night and day because Ridley Scott was very involved. He was like, He was as much involved in the creative aspects of it, of like the actor's experience, as he was the technical aspects of shooting a movie. Whereas Cameron is just like, boom, technical, wham, fucking do it right. Almost Kubrickian in his approach. But yeah, I mean, I think Catherine, from what I heard from on Hurt Locker, that she was compassionate, engaged. She was as interested in telling the story as in learning about and experiencing what these guys, Eugene, what are they? What are they called? Those guys?
They're EOD, explosive ordnance disposal.
That's right. Yeah. And that's the hallmark of a fantastic director. And you can see in this early film, in Near Dark, you can see those instincts, and I love it because it's so raw. Because she was obviously a green director. You could tell that she's green, but man, she knows what she wants. She has a vision, and she fucking goes for it. And of course, tapping the resources of James Cameron, you need to make something happen. If you're a green director with no contacts, you're like, hey, I need this, I need some more, and the production company's like, fuck you, we're not giving you shit, work with what you got. And then if you're James Cameron's wife, you're like, hey, I need this, and you're like, sure, yeah, okay, because we were talking, of all the phone calls that a production company's going to get, you don't want to get one from James Cameron.
Yeah, you don't want to get the James Cameron's pissed off calling you. That is not going to go well.
Oh fuck yeah!
Did you know that Bigelow, like when she came into this, she really wanted to do like a Western movie, just a Western movie, because
I could see those elements.
Right, and she really wanted to do a Western movie, but nobody would fund her for it. So she went ahead and was like, what if we do like a Western vampire movie? And boom, money started rolling in. It's like okay.
Well, you can actually see that green director. I mean, she's a brand new director, and she's going at it solo. She's not working with a partner. The only thing that anybody would really trust her with is the kind of the mentality of Hollywood is a horror film.
Right. Which, I mean, like, no, like you said, she was really green in this, but, like, fantastic. This, somebody just said, Gavlar just said, Near Dark is my favorite vampire movie. I think that would probably stand true for me as well.
It's good. It's interesting that you brought that up, because you had Lost Boys that came out in 1987 being a huge hit. So if you can bank off of, well, they're vampires, kind of like Lost Boys, yeah, I can see people investing in that.
For sure, yeah. It was like
it was the dude with the saxophone, man. That's what that made.
Here's a little piece of info for you.
Oh yeah, what's up?
When Paxton was walking down the street hitchhiking, and the dude like gives him the finger out of the car. You know what scene I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was James Cameron. He was on set that day.
That's fucking amazing.
There was so much cool, like, looking into this, so many cool things, like how Paxton would, like, stay in character, and there was a train that would stop at the same intersection every night, and so one day he saw one of the diesel engineers getting off, and walked up to him and was like, there's been an accident, and if you think I look bad, you should see the other guy in full makeup, like face half gone. Like, there was just so much going on this set that it was ridiculous. But there's like a lot of cool stuff about this movie. Like, for a vampire movie, the word vampire is never used in it.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, just little stuff here and there that like Cameron would throw in, and he had a lot of influence on this movie as well.
It kind of reminds me, because originally Lance Henriksen, legendary Lance Henriksen, was not originally supposed to be, was his name John?
Was he
Jesse Hooker?
Yeah.
He was not originally. Lance Henriksen was not that part wasn't really meant for him. It was written. It was created with Michael Bain in mind. So
I mean, that makes sense.
And I could see him in that role. He had at the time, he was 1987 or 86 when they shot this. So he had the look, he had the youth, but he had that kind of world kind of weariness that sold him as the character of Hicks in Aliens. Because we get that Hicks looks young, but man, he's seen the shit. They wanted that again for the character of Jesse, which is supposed to be like 150 some odd, a Civil War vampire who's been around and seen all this shit go down. And Michael Bain could have played that off, but apparently Michael didn't understand the script, which I think would depend upon when he got it. Because if it was supposed to be a Western and then it turned into a vampire movie, I can understand why you're like, what kind of fucking movie is this? I don't get this. I'm not playing this movie.
I don't want it.
And yet he was in Planet Terror. maybe he's changed.
That's a whole Grindhouse.
Maybe he's changed his mind a bit. But yeah, so
he probably saw Near Dark and was like, I need to be in it.
So of course it goes to like now the legendary Lance Henriksen, fucking Pumpkinhead, Aliens, fucking bad, fucking Lance Henriksen is amazing. And of course he jumps on this one. I thought he was great because even at that, even back in the mid '80s, Henriksen just has a look that I think he's capitalized on. But it's just this kind of like quiet menace that he's capable of. He showed a lot of it in Pumpkinhead, which I think is what got him that role. Because he can go from like vulnerable to fucking diabolical in just a heartbeat. And that kind of range, I think, fits the character well. I thought he did very well in the role. I would have liked to have seen Michael Biehn, but Lance Henriksen was excellent.
Yeah,
but it works.
And that was on James Cameron too. He was the one that suggested to use like a ready-made cast, and you got like a lot of really good things because of it. And I think it's because they worked together. At one point that they clicked.
Oh yeah.
Did you know that Johnny Depp actually auditioned for Caleb as well?
No fucking way.
Johnny Depp and D.B. Sweeney both auditioned for that role as Caleb.
Holy shit! This would have been fresh off Nightmare.
Yeah, only a couple years afterwards.
So if Johnny, I don't think Johnny was grabbing work like left and right. I don't think he was having like back-to-back projects. So they were shooting A Nightmare on Elm Street, and that released in '84. So they were most likely shooting it late '82, '83. It releases '84. And then, they do press, and they do the junk and stuff like that. So he's busy with that one. He probably did some auditions. This may have been one of the ones that he auditioned for after Nightmare. Where he's like, okay, I'm done with this one time. Start auditioning and looking for future work. And this may have come across his way. He would have been awesome as Caleb. I like Adrian Pazar. I really do. I thought he was a little kind of babyface for this. But I think Johnny would have been fun. That would have been an interesting choice.
That would have been cool.
It would have worked. I
think it was good the way it was.
Oh, what it turned out was fantastic because I saw this as more of an ensemble film, and being just everyone kind of playing together, working off one another. And no one had one role that I think was larger than the other. The kind of, I would say, suppressed kind of energy of Lance Henriksen perfectly matched Bill Paxton's over the top.
Right.
Like the psychotic weird science shit. And then, of course, Adrian Pazar has that very, very cool and collected, which is offset by May, the vampire that turns him. And I loved how it all played together very well. It was very, very well balanced. Very smart casting. And, of course, James Cameron can help to facilitate these things when you need help with casting or you need help with, making something like this. Or if you need a guy to drive down the road and flip off your main character.
It's awesome.
I think that's just how James Cameron says hi. Like, Bill Paxton used to now. Hey James, fuck off! I'll still be in your next movie.
I mean, you gotta give it to I think Lance Henriksen in this movie was fantastic, and that is like the way that he prepared for the movie too. I was looking into that as well because he just blows my mind every time I see him. But doing stuff like getting into character, like putting tar in his hair because that's what the Navy, the seamen did, or the Confederate Navy, like tar, like color and slick their hair back, and he like did all these weird things, and he actually like picked up a hitchhiker while he was getting ready for his role, and he was in his role and picked this guy up, and the guy he picked up like asked to be let out of the car after like the first exit that they found because he was so weirded out by this character. And
hold on. So he picked up a hitchhiker in character as Jesse.
In character as Jesse, a hitchhiker that he claimed to be twice the size of himself, and he also went to a Denny's and freaked out the waitress there. So it was cool that he just went so far into it. That's
awesome. That is fucking amazing. That is what separates. That's what separates the legends from the wannabes. I've loved it. I love him in almost and virtually everything he's ever appeared in. I've always enjoyed it. Even in The Quick and the Dead, I loved him as Aces in The Quick and the Dead. I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah.
Even though he got his ass whooped. So. All right. So that brings up. We gotta ask the audience. What was your favorite vampire film? I think they anticipated us asking this because I think a few have already shown up in the chat. So we'll take a look at it. Favorite vampire movies. I think, Sir Little Wolf said Near Dark is awesome. It is fucking amazing.
What We Do in the Shadows.
And
is that a movie or a show?
That is actually a movie. It's a movie. It's from Taika Waititi.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say there's a show and it's kind of out there.
Sir Little Wolf said The Forsaken is my favorite vampire movie. First, The Forsaken was really, really good. Jessica G says, the scariest ghost film I've ever seen was a 1991 made-for-TV movie called The Haunted. It can be found on YouTube. It was the movie that showed me the power of a blanket shield. It scared me well into my early 20s. It was based on a true story thing, and as a kid, I didn't know what that meant, which added to how scary it was. The Haunted. Very cool. And Sir Little Wolf, Sir Little Wolf says, my unpopular opinion, Lost Boys is overrated.
Ooh. I would agree.
Ooh, some dissenting opinions.
I thought they would. I thought it would be a different thing, and then you see it, and it's kind of like, I don't know. It feels overproduced. It feels cheesy to me.
I think it's nostalgia laden. It's one of those ones that we came up with. Yeah, it's one of those ones we came up with. We look back on it in fondness.
I don't know. I even tried to watch it recently, and it was like, I think I only got halfway through
it. Let's see. Jessica G, my favorite vampire movie is What We Do in the Shadows, and that movie was fucking hilarious. Guys, we're not werewolves. No, just guys, we're not swearwolves. We're werewolves. All right, because they're trying to keep from cussing. They don't want to. They don't want to propagate a negative image, a negative stereotype of werewolves. We're not swearwolves.
Was the TV show based off of the movie at all?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
The fact that Taika Waititi is playing the vampire who hasn't quite figured out how to bite people correctly. So when he goes to bite them, he always hits something really vital, and it ends up spraying everywhere and creating a giant mess. This shit is great. Jessica, Jessica G, that is a great movie. Thank you, Sir Little Wolf. Yes, Jessica G, and Afflicted is another great vampire movie. Similar to Hardcore Henry with parkour and stuff. Yes, the Afflicted was a found footage one about two guys who go overseas. I guess on this kind of like, I think some kind of like trip. They're documenting, they're doing found footage, and one of them winds up kind of being seduced by this hot chick they meet in this Hungarian nightclub, and so she lures. They go to their hotel room. He bangs her, and she ends up turning him into a vampire, and he ends up going. The whole transformation is really, really cool. And of course, he ends up turning his friend into one as well. It gets fucking crazy. Jesse Hooker, time to pay the fiddler. Time to pay the fiddler, yes. I couldn't even hope to say that like Lance Hendricks does. He's just got that parlance that just kicks ass. Tina Jones says, but Lost Boys was awesome. I still think it was awesome. I do. And of course, Jeff Roberts says, oh, Dark Steve says, not really my thing, so I'll go Blade. I like Blade.
I like Blade too.
Johnny O does not like Blade.
Wait, let me clarify. I like Blade 2 as in the second one. I like Blade T-O-O-O.
You like Blade also?
No. Yeah, I like Blade
also. Blade 2 sucked. Blade 3 gave us one of the best fucking lines ever in a movie that I still use to this day. But I think that was probably one of the only things.
It was a Ryan Reynolds line, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm more of a Celine Dion fan. She's a Canadian treasure.
Let's see. The line I'm thinking of, I'm not going to repeat because I'm not Australian and can't say that word over the internet.
What was it?
You cock juggling thunder.
Thunder cunt. That was it. You cock juggling thunder cunt. Let's see. Jeff Roberts says, "Let the right one in." Really good one.
That was a great one.
Excellent.
The original, not the original, not the remake. And PhD Tony says, "Wow, I can't think of a vampire film I own." Oh, that's a shame.
I own films I like a lot. I don't seem to own any vampire films. So we're taking it you don't like vampire films.
By the law of transitive property, that would follow.
I have deduced.
Yes.
It's elementary. But definitely. But also, if you are not a part of the live chat, if you listen to this later on, let us know in the comments. Love to hear what your favorite vampire films are. Let us know in the comments or hit us up, weekinhorror@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your emails. Alex loves getting your emails. He's very, very lonely because he just got married and he has a kid on the way. So he's pretty much all by himself. So definitely send him an email. He likes getting those emails. It makes him feel good. It's that validation he needs to make it to the next day.
Keeps me
All
going,
right.
guys.
We have one more film. One more film to talk about. Eugene, you've got this one. I think this is the best. I honestly think this is the best one of the night.
Oh yeah. So what we have, let me bring this back up. We have released January 9th, 2009, the film Dead Snow. Yes. And it was directed by Tommy Wirkola. And it's starring...
Yeah, oh my god, you got it right.
I'll tell you, foreign films. That's it. Those are
I think I'm just going to give you the foreign films from now on.
Let's see how the cast goes.
Yeah, let's go through the cast first. So we have Vigor Hoel, Stig Freud Hendrickson, Charlotte Frognor, and Lassie Veldol.
Fucking close enough.
Close enough. Oh.
I'm sorry for our Norwegian listeners at this moment. I deeply, deeply apologize. And basically the story is, and I've been wanting to say this ever since we started doing the podcast, I just haven't had a chance yet. The story is, you have some people in the woods, and they get attacked by Nazi zombies. Yes!
Fucking
the most evil kind of zombie.
Okay, I've got a quick story
the most
about
evil
this
kind of
one.
zombie, the Nazi zombie.
This movie.
They're not just Nazis, not just zombies, Nazi zombies.
No, it's the worst of the worst. But so this movie, when I lived up in Minnesota, there was a place called Minnehaha Falls, and it's just like these waterfalls that you can go hang out at. And there's like little shops around that you can go to. It was a really cool spot. And I used to go there all the time as a kid, and I ended up going there a lot as an adult as well. But kind of right in between there, I think I was like 18 or 19. I might have been like 18. But I'm sitting in a little ice cream shop, and this little old lady runs the place, and I'm sitting there eating ice cream watching the TV. The sound's not on, but this movie is playing, and this poor little old lady had no idea that this movie was on the TV. It had just popped on the whatever channel she had it on. And so I'm watching the TV, I'm watching this movie, and I'm like, what the fuck are they watching? Why are they showing this in this little ice cream shop with all these old people? And I was watching just intrigued, and I was like, I wonder what this is called. And so she ended up seeing what was going on the TV, and like quickly changed it. And I never caught the name of it. So like I went home and I was like researching, like, okay, zombie movies in the snow. I was like, wait a second, Nazi zombie movie Snow. And it was like Dead Snow, and I was like, oh my god. And I watched it that day.
That right there could have been the title.
Yeah. Nazi zombies in the snow. But seriously, it was like I'm watching this, I'm like, oh my god, this is a zombie movie. Wait a second, those are Reich uniforms. Like, hold on. Are these fucking Nazi zombies?
And that was a big thing. Is that director Ricola wanted to ensure that they were obviously they're the undead, but he wanted them to be Nazis first, then zombies. So it's not like
zombies...
it's not like zombies who happen to be Nazis. They're like Nazis who just happen to be zombies as well.
They're just still Nazis. They are aware that they are being Nazis. Dude, I mean, but seriously, how do you take a zombie who I guess is technically not inherently evil, but like it's like that's a scary thing, and make it completely and totally evil? You put a fucking swastika on its arm. Make it a Nazi.
So the one thing I really dug about this, obviously, I mean, it's a horror comedy. There's a lot of tongue-in-cheek shit that goes down in this thing, and it's super funny. Great stuff, I mean, I think one of my favorite scenes was when they're hanging off the fucking intestine off the cliff and shit. That shit was great. There's so much good stuff. I don't want to ruin it for anybody who hasn't seen it. Because while it is kind of a cult favorite, it's a Norwegian film, and most people might not have seen it because of that. I really dug this one because it wasn't your stereotypical zombie. It was a fresh take because of the influence of Norwegian folklore.
Yeah. And
the big thing was, I think, Alex, you got the name. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce it right. Fucking Draug? Oh, the Draugr? Is that it?
Oh, yeah. Shit. Man, brain fart central. Yeah, it's I think it's Draug or Draugen.
Okay, so for those not in the know, so apparently in Norway there is an undead creature that acts like that. It's undead, but not really a zombie. It's called the Draugr. I think that's how you pronounce it. I mean, someone from Norway correct me if I'm wrong. I wish we do have someone.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's Draugr.
Okay, we actually do have somebody. Microraptor does not happen to be in the chat. Microraptor would quickly correct me on this one, but if I was wrong. But anyway, this undead creature protects like a hoard of treasure or gold or something that it has squirreled away. Usually it's something it's stolen from somebody else or something that it acquired. Gavlar heads on, yes, the Drow. Yes, that you are correct. And that is what these creatures technically are. It's based upon that concept, which is why the Nazis were after the gold. Because it was ill-gotten Nazi gold and the reason that they were there and they hadn't spread is because they were there protecting their hoard. And that's what the Drow does. And I kind of dug that idea. It's well, shit, looks like a fucking zombie, and it's technically undead, but it's not. And I love that concept. I thought it was fresh. And it was something I didn't expect. It made it different for me. And I think everybody, if you haven't seen this, should definitely check this one out. And not to mention, and we'll get a little real on this, is that, and I think Eugene has some insight into this one, Norway's influence in World War II.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Norway was heavily involved, actually, and the Germans actually thought that the Allies were going to land in the Scandinavian Peninsula over in that area too. There's a whole effort, a whole deception, all this other kind of stuff, to the point where Germany stationed 400,000 troops in that area that never saw combat in war because the Allies ended up landing in France, and they just basically sat there the entire war. But they were heavily involved because the thing is, like, they were a proud people. They were people that fought for their independence. They fought against the Germans. These were not people. You have to be tough to live in Norway. That is a very unforgiving land. And
it's fucking Viking land.
It's Viking territory.
I mean, what did the Vikings do?
Yeah.
The Viking, they didn't have shit. They went to other places and took their shit and brought their shit back. That's what the Vikings did.
And for a long time, people couldn't stop them.
Yeah.
Dude, the Norwegian resistance fighters in like World War II, because we were talking about this, I looked into it a little bit, but they played a huge role in stopping the atomic bomb program by destroying like their heavy water production facilities, and but yeah, their guerrilla warfare was like, it had a huge effect on the outcome of the war because it was just this super effective guerrilla operations that they pulled because, like you said, they're fucking Vikings. It's what they did.
They fucking, I mean,
it's so demoralizing because you're going through traveling somewhere, all of a sudden you get this hit and run on it, and it can beat down after a while for the German army.
having read up a bit into it, I wish that the Norwegian there were many countries that were heavily involved in World War II. I don't think get a ton of credit, but do deserve like for example, the Australians that hemmed up Rommel in Africa. Basically kept him from getting to Egypt in the amount of time. There was just a hefty band of Australians that were like, fuck you, mate, and then you weren't coming through, and held up the Desert Fox himself. So you got to give it to the Aussies there. But it's small little stories like this, and the effect that Norway had on the war, I think gets kind of, unless you're a World War II historian or you're from Norway itself, I don't think it gets enough. It gets a lot of play. I don't think a lot of people are as aware of that. And I love this movie because you can see that Norwegians had a very specific view of the Third Reich. And whereas it's still a comedy, you can tell there is that Norwegian pride. There's a bit of Norwegian nationalism there. It was like, fuck these assholes. It's not just that they're zombies. They're fucking Nazis. Okay? And we take it personally. And I dug that. I dug that idea. It was like, holy shit, Nazis, the fucker's so bad, you wish you could kill him twice. Well, guess what? In this movie, you get to do it twice. And that's amazing.
You can tell they're getting ready to make the movie, and they're like, all right, let's do zombies. All right, everybody gets to kill the zombies, and the cast is probably like, can we make them Nazis too? Yeah, fuck yeah, we can make them Nazis.
Hey, the bird agrees. Seal of... It lent a very strong credibility to a film that, I mean, you could cast this movie off as just kind of like a horror comedy thing. I like going deeper. Tommy Wirkola is such a prolific Norwegian director, and I love his work. I love the stuff that he does. And I like the fact that he got to be like, we're Norway. Let's celebrate it. We're going to do zombies. We're going to make them Nazis. It's the most evil possible zombie. They're going to be Nazis before, the Nazis first, zombies second was his kind of idea there. And it was a chance to kind of play with it and be like, this is my statement. You know what? Fuck these Nazi assholes. And they have to be zombies for us to kill them, but fuck it, we're going to kill them and they're going to be zombies. It's going to be fucking hilarious. And we're going to laugh at them the whole goddamn time. And that's why it got a sequel, Red Snow 2. Or Dead Snow 2.
Dead Snow, yeah.
So it was Dead...
Wasn't the word red was in that one?
I think, hang on a sec. Sequel. Dead Snow 2, Red versus Dead.
Yeah.
I love it. I love what he did with it. It is a super fun couple of films. And it doesn't you realize that even a zombie film, even with a Nazi zombie film, you can have fun. It doesn't have to go super dark. But it doesn't make light of it. It doesn't make light of the situation, but it does say that, we can have fun chopping up fucking Nazis.
Always a good time.
It's always a good time.
But it is. It's a good time. And this is actually something I want to ask the audience. What is your favorite zombie film? And because you get them all over the spectrum.
When he cuts his arm off with a fucking chainsaw, I was like, ah! It just felt like such a throwback to Evil Dead, but it wasn't stolen from it because the cinematography was different. But I'm like, yes, you could tell that we're
homage.
It was an homage. It was a very good. You could tell this is one of those movies where everybody was having fun playing it. It's like, this is a fun movie, and we've talked about that before. How it's more fun to watch a fun movie that you could tell everybody enjoyed making it. That was the big thing. If, it could be an excellent movie, but if the actors are just like not invested, they're phoning it in, or it's just like, fuck it, that translates to the audience. This one does not do that. It's so much fun. But anyway, continuing, Eugene. I didn't mean. I just suddenly the scene where he saws his bitten arm off. He's like, "What?" I was like, "Holy fuck!"
So, but yeah. So tell us what your favorite zombie film is, because you have zombie films that are all over the place. You have some that are super dark ones, some super gory ones. You have some funny ones that are just fun to sit and laugh at, and some you have spoofs and all sorts of kind of stuff. So let us know what your favorite zombie film is.
Fuck yeah.
Scooby-Doo on Zombie Islands.
Yeah, that's the answer for all of them.
Let me see here right quick. Let me see. That's PSG. Let's see. Favorite zombie films. Chris Durham Music Channel says every horror movie I own because I love B movies, so most of them are not scary. Some B movies are scary, but B movies are fantastic. Let me see. PhD Tony says Shaun of the Dead. Yes, Shaun of the Dead. Edgar Wright answer. The Edgar Wright masterpiece. Dark Steve says Zombieland. I tell you what, man. The last 5 minutes of Zombieland got me. I did not think Tallahassee was going to make it out of that little shooting gallery alive.
Oh, with fucking did, and 2 was fantastic.
Oh yeah.
With it was like that's what got me, because once you've seen it in Zombieland, I kind of half expected it in Zombieland too. Double Tap, I was like, okay, I think we're going to see a lot of the same. But in that first one, obviously we hadn't seen anything like Zombieland before. This is a quite unique idea. And when he jumps in there, locks, puts down the shutters, lays out all the ammunition, is just, I don't even know if you can reload a gun like that. Just wham and just go. I don't know if that works, but fuck it, he made it work. But there were so many zombies, I did not think he was going to make it out of that. I thought that was going to be his epic, I'm cashing it in. I'm going to fucking kill all these zombies. But then no, there's Woody Harrelson spinning the guns like, fuck yes. So fucking good.
And what's awesome is like in that moment, it gets you because you feel bad. Or like a lot of zombie movies, the person who does that would die. But then when he survives in the end, it didn't feel cheap or a cop out or anything like that. It just fit.
And it was it was justified in giving him his Twinkie. He earned it. He earned that fucking. It was like, it's kind of like, if he doesn't get a Twinkie after the end of that, then that's fucked up. So he got that.
Then the whole movie is just fucking trash.
Yeah, then it's just trash. When he shot the Twinkies with the shotgun.
Maybe you can eat around the buckshot.
He's like, no, it's too soon. Oh, I'm so sorry. Let's see. Chris Durham Music Channel says Shaun of the Dead as well. Gavlar Hand of Zod says Shaun of the Dead as well. Dark Steve says he is not. I'm assuming you're saying you have not seen Zombieland 2. It's fun. It is good. It makes. Obviously it picks up 10 years after the first film, but it plays to the strengths of the movie. I think you'd enjoy. If you enjoyed the first one,
Luke Wilson is in it, and he's fucking hilarious.
If you enjoyed the first one, I think you'll really dig the second one. Not to mention, I think there's a scene in there where it shows Bill Murray before, right as the apocalypse was occurring. I think he was in the middle of an interview for. He's in the middle of an interview for Garfield 3. Yeah. And he's just like, I don't want to fucking be here. And then the zombies attack. He's like, okay, I'm out. Yes, Tina Jones. I agree. Simon Pegg is fucking hilarious. All of the three flavor Cornettos trilogy, or his other stuff. By the way, I will actually give this recommendation. There on Amazon, there is
on Prime. Yes,
on Prime. Nick Frost has a new show out called Truth Seekers.
It's fucking hilarious.
It is excellent. It's so fucking good. I highly recommend it. Check that out. It's Nick Frost. Simon Pegg is in it as well. Simon Pegg plays Nick Frost's boss. He works for they work for a telecommunications company. But definitely,
when they finally go into that little room, and
yes.
I took us the second or third episode, I was like, "What the fuck?"
It was good. It was good stuff.
It was good.
Definitely check out Truth Seekers. The first season of that is up on Amazon Prime. So I think all of y'all will really, really dig that. Yeah, PhD Tony says, I'm not so keen on, he says the end of the world, but I think you mean at World's End?
Or are you talking about apocalyptic films?
Or apocalyptic film.
No, the end of the world.
The end of the world.
The other one that was like James Franco and
there was the
where all the celebrities get fucking murdered in the beginning.
That was the end, wasn't it?
Was that just the end? I thought it was just the end.
That was just the end. There was At World's End, or At the World's End, which was the Simon Pegg Nick Frost
Pirates
one.
Of the Caribbean.
And then there was At World's End. That was Pirates of the Caribbean. And then
you just got the end.
The World's End. That was Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, Edgar Wright. At World's End, which was Pirates of the Caribbean. The End, which was the James Franco, Seth Rogen, the Rapture movie. The World's End. This is the end. Fucking hell. It's the we'll get the brain parts out.
This is the end.
No, this is the end was with with
This is the end with James Franco and Seth Rogen. Okay,
Seth Rogen and
The World's
Danny
End.
McBride.
Okay, he meant The World's End with the pub crawl. I actually like that one. I thought it was great.
Future filmmakers, please do not include the word "end" in your title, at least for another 10 years.
PhD Tony says, I liked This Is the End. That was funny. Yes, I think. How the fuck did Aziz Ansari die in that one? Was he the one who was impaled, and then he went up and he dropped his fucking? I can't remember.
No, you're right. Yeah, with the phone.
That shit was fucking funny. But the idea of Michael Cera slapping Rihanna's ass, and then Rihanna just knocking the fuck out of him, that shit was funny as hell. That made me laugh. That was fucking funny.
That was good shit.
All right.
There was one zombie movie that I wanted to see. It came out in 2009. It was called Dead Air. I never saw it.
Oh, I did hear about that one. That was the radio station, right?
Yeah, where the radio guy is like broadcasting about the biochemical warfare plague.
Oh, right. So
affecting...
I think it's time, Alex, and you have the honor for doing our trivia question of the night. So I want to give a heads up to everybody in the audience tonight. Mm-hmm. So Alex is going to ask the trivia question. The prize for tonight's trivia question is a copy of Near Dark on DVD.
Nice.
The reason I'm bringing this up first is because I want everyone in the chat to know how fucking hard it was for me to find a copy of this movie.
A physical copy, yeah?
A physical copy of this movie was goddamn impossible to find. Not to mention, it is not streaming on any service. Nowhere. It's not on YouTube. It's not on Facebook. It's not on Hulu or Netflix or Amazon Prime. I cannot rent it. I went everywhere to the Criterion channel, and it's not even there as well. And they got all kinds of like weird, obscure shit. So I went and I found a copy of this DVD of this movie, and I shit you not, this one set me back. So I can't wait to see who wins this one, because this was a pricey little prize to get my hands on, and I'm so glad we get to give one. I don't have it here. It is on its way to me. It was very, very difficult to find, but I will let Alex ask the question, and we will see who gets the answer right.
All right. Okay, you ready, guys?
Everybody ready for the trivia question? Let us know in the chat. You ready for the trivia question? I just need to hear from one of you.
We know
Are
PhD
you ready?
I think PhD Tony is ready. PhD Tony is always ready. We
got one ready.
We're good? Okay, we're ready. Okay, so
Tina Jones is ready.
Alex, take it away.
All right. What horror movie did Near Dark actors Jeanette Goldstein, Lance Henriksen, and Bill Paxton also co-star in? What horror movie did Near Dark actors Jeanette Goldstein, Lance Henriksen, and Bill Paxton also co-star in?
First correct answer in the chat gets a copy of Near Dark on DVD. Oh, I feel
Oh my god!
It hasn't popped up
already.
Oh my god!
I fucking knew it'd be PhD Tony.
Tony. Either the Google foo is real strong with this one, or he pays way too much attention.
Oh, look at that. PhD Tony crushes it. I think this is PhD Tony's third win.
He's going to get hacked, and people are going to close him out of the show. Oh, Gavlar coming in just seconds late.
Yes, Gavlar Hanivzad, so close. Aliens. It's all good, PhD Tony. You won fair and square.
Dark Steve, yes, they did also.
Why do I have the feeling that PhD Tony held off, he held off, he waited. He wanted to give somebody else a chance, and then he realized, well, nobody's putting it up. Fuck it, I want that vampire movie. I
just want to see it.
Now you got one for your collection.
Oh, PhD Tony says to give it to Gavlar.
Ooh.
Oh.
Passing it off.
Very charitable. Very nice. PhD Tony, and yes, Tina Jones was our winner last week. So, PhD Tony, you want us to send the Near Dark to Gavlar? Gavlar says, Tony, you pipped me at the post. I think that's very fucking cool. Yes, PhD Tony says,
he just said, give it to Gavlar.
Give the movie to Gavlar.
Super cool, dude.
That is super fucking cool. That's awesome, Tony. That's really, really awesome. And Tony, I just got notification that the shirt, obviously shipping to Australia, is taking quite a long while. So your limited edition shirt that you won the first time should be arriving today or tomorrow or something. I don't know. Maybe it's already tomorrow over there. I don't fucking know. But
I think I saw a thing in the email that it was delivered.
Yeah, or maybe it was delivered. I don't know. But hopefully the shirt gets to you. I heard that it was close or it was delivered. I'm not really sure. The Thing art book should be following shortly behind that. Things are taking time to get to Australia. I don't know. So
the mail's backed up because of the COVID and Christmas.
Luckily, with the t-shirts and stuff, I can direct ship those from Teespring to wherever they need to go. Oh, he says it arrived today. Fantastic. And Tina, awesome. your shirt and your mug are on the way to you as well. So, and Gavlar, shoot us your if I don't have it, message me your shipping details and we will ship you. I will ship you the copy of Near Dark when it arrives to me, because I had to get it sent to me first. Okay. And look at that, just in time for the closing credits. Dick Dawson, the man with the radio voice, far superior to any of ours, jumped in there. Dick, it's good to see you, sir. Just in time for the closing plugs. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings another episode of Week in Horror to a close. I want to thank you all so much for listening. We truly hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed making it for you. As always, you can visit us at weekinhorror.net, where you can find links to all of our episodes, our bios, our merch store at Teespring, and of course, enter your email for a permanent entry to win a mystery horror shirt every single month. We're about to do another drawing for January, so be sure to check that out. And don't forget, our limited edition artwork t-shirt on Teespring got an additional, because of you guys, an additional 2 weeks in the Teespring store before we pull that pretty much permanently. So 2 more weeks you got to pick up a limited edition Week in Horror official t-shirt. For more horror entertainment, be sure to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and now on Instagram. Holy shit, we're Instagram influencers now. Followers get our daily splatter, a bit of horror info every single day right to your feed. Movie suggestions, shit you may have never seen. You never know what you may discover in the daily splatter. We really hope you enjoyed this new live format. We really love bringing the show live to you guys, and we'd love to get your feedback on it. So shoot us comments down below, hit us up at weekinhorror@gmail.com, message us at the website, however you want to get in touch. Join our Discord, subscribe to the channel, smash that bell like a zombie head for all the latest from this show. And lastly, if you truly love what we do here and you would like and are able to support the production, you can through our PayPal and our Patreon. We have patron tiers as low as $1, bonus and exclusive content, horror films every single month. We have something for everybody. Links to all of this, including our Discord community, where you can find film recommendations, trailers, trivia games, interact directly with us, and even watch horror movies with us in the theater. Jessica G is our stream queen. She brings all the best. I will myself be streaming Altered tonight. Right after the show, we'll be putting that up in Discord. So join us in the theater over there. But we know that right now, things are tight. And these are very trying times. And as always, simply liking and sharing the show to your local horror community and amongst your friends is the best way to help us continue to grow. You've been so amazing. All throughout 2020, you've helped us turn into what we are today. And we cannot wait to see what the future brings. Now, we are recording this as our last episode of 2020. It will debut on podcasts everywhere in 2021. So from all of us here at Week in Horror, we appreciate each and every one of you for your support, your listenership. We hope that you go into 2021 with all the best. We wish you everything in the next year. Thank you for a fantastic 2020. I am JL.
And I'm Eugene.
I'm Alex.
And we will see you all next year. And as always, stay scared.